It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Kulin Desai. Mr. Desai has a B.Pharm degree from LM College of Pharmacy in Ahmedabad. He has also received MBA degrees in marketing and finance from Long Island University in New York. Mr. Desai has worked in Citibank USA as a vice president in charge of computer department before starting his own independent international business. Currently, Mr. Desai is a very successful independent business owner and who's who in the private franchisee business. So please help me welcome Mr. Kulin Desai.
What I'm going to talk to you today is how to achieve called financial freedom. Okay? I'm going to give you a key to a financial freedom. Okay? Now, what is financial freedom, number one? Because most people have no clue. Okay? I had no clue, even though I'm a finance major. Okay? And so let me define that for you, what's financial freedom all about. Okay? Number one, would you agree that you must have at least some money? Right? How many of you believe you need some money? Right? Now my question to you is, are you making all the money that you need? That is a question, right? Now sometimes very hard question, if you're not sure, let me give you some of the clue. Let's say for example, car. Number one, do you have a car? Right? And if you do, then what kind? Do you have the car you like, or do you have the car you can afford? Right? See, that's the question. If money was no challenge, would you drive Mercedes? Right? Would you drive BMW? Right? All those kind of cars. Right? Why not? The only reason you don't have that car is because you don't have that money. Right? So that tells you need money. Now you don't have to be in cars. Because I can tell you a story about late Sam Walton, owner of Walmart and Sam's Clubs, and he's a big tycoon in the States back then. He used to drive what we call pickup truck, which is the cheapest vehicle you can buy, actually. Okay, and that's the only one he drove. Why? Because he liked driving that pickup truck. Now he could have driven any car he wanted. He had that money, but he drove because he liked that car. Now, I want to ask you a question and be honest about that the car you're driving is because you like it, or that's the only one you can afford. Now, car is a big thing. Second thing we can talk about is a house. Are you living in the house of your choice? Right? Probably no, right? Why? Again, money. Right? If money was no object, can you picture yourself living in a house you really like? Right? Now, some of you may not be in a house. So I don't care because I love traveling. So, I really don't care about house because I'm always out. And now, if that's the case, are you traveling to the places you really like? See, these are the questions will tell you, do you really have enough money or not? But these are the big things. Let me tell you the small things, which can tell you. Let's say for ladies, for example, you went out to buy some dress. Let me tell you exactly what happened. You saw two dresses. One you liked and one you came home with. Right? You know what I mean, right? Because those things stops you from, money is an object here, which stops you from getting what you want, okay? Even simpler thing that when you go to restaurant, that's the ultimate test whether you need money or not, okay? When you go to restaurant, how do you read the menu? Left to right or right to left? That tells you whether you need money or not. Okay? So again, that's the question, do you really need money? Now, a lot of people would go out and tell you that, all you guys talk about is money, money, money. Money is not everything, and that they are pretty much right in that case, There are bigger things in a life than money. A lot of people say there are so many bigger things in a life than money, and they are right. What we call them? Bills. Bills are bigger than the money you have, right? So, again, that's a question. Now, the second element to financial freedom is that you should have a time to enjoy the money you make. Okay? Otherwise, what good is money if you don't have time to enjoy it? Okay? See, let me tell you, if you are putting too much time to earn the money, that means you have less time to enjoy the life. Would you agree? Right? Or if you have too much time to enjoy for yourself, you don't have too much money. Right? So you need a balance. One without other has no value. Okay? And I'll tell you my personal experience in this field. When I used to work in a bank, I used to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work. And I'll be lucky if I come home by 9 or 10. Is there anybody here feel the same way? Right? I'm sure so many of you are in that field. Okay? When I'm going to work in the morning, children are sleeping. When I come home, they are sleeping. Okay? I don't even get to see them during the whole week. So I used to tell my wife, Meena, that make sure they see my picture, Otherwise, on Sunday, they might call me uncle, So I was asking myself that what am I doing? What am I doing that, I'm making... See, the thing was, and I'm sure most of you probably going to start thinking about this thing. If you are listening to this one, ask yourself and think about this thing. I said, what I was doing was my family, right? I was going to work for my family, right? That's what most of you do that, right? You going out to work to earn the money because you want to take care of family, you want to give the finest thing to your family, you want to make sure your family is okay, your children have the things they want, they can get a better education, all of those things. We want the good things for our family, right? And that's the reason we go out to work. But the same thing was keeping me away from my family. Okay? And I said, this is something wrong here. Okay? So my thing here is that the financial freedom does not only include money. Money alone will not make you free. See, some of you own business of your own. I have a question for you. Do you own the business or business owns you? That's a question. Okay? I have some friends who owns business. I have a friend of mine who has a business in state, and they had a wedding of their son, but their business is such that either husband or wife can attend. Would you believe that? And that's what they had to do. The mother could not come to the wedding of their own son because of their business. Okay? Because if you are, that's nothing but a slavery to me. Okay? And that's what had happened to me when I went to United States. I became slave of a dollar bill. Okay? Over there. And I had to go and work, and there was no option to it. And the third element to financial freedom is security. Now, I'm not talking about job security or business security because that's not important. Because see, if you lose one job, you can always find another one. Okay? You may take a couple of days, couple of months, you may have to move to another place, but you can always find something else. But what I'm talking about is something called income security, which is quite different than job security. Okay? See, the income security lies in you. Specifically, your ability to produce. The day you lose your ability to produce, what's your income? Zero. Let's say if you are a number one surgeon, you lose your arm. Now what's your income? You know everything about surgery, but you cannot perform one. Okay? You lost your ability to perform. I'll tell you, my father passed away when I was 5 years old. He was a government officer here, and everything was given by government. We had servants and house and you name it. But the day he was gone, everything went with him. Okay? He had a heart attack, and all of a sudden, without any prior notice, he was just gone. Okay? And next day, we were poor. And those of you who have heard my story, you know that I grew up my entire childhood in poverty. Okay? And so reason was because my father had no income security. Okay? Now, income security, you can only one way to establish income security is when your income does not depend on you. If you are the 100% responsible for your income, you have absolute zero security. Now, this was just, my father's case was, God's hand, nothing you can do about it. But you could be alive and lose your income security, your ability to produce income. For example, how many of you are in IT profession right now? Right? One new language comes, new technology comes, what happens to your ability to perform? You have to retrain yourself. And if you don't retrain yourself, you lost your ability to perform. Sometimes whole industry can go away. You look at in an automobile, there's something called carburetor. Okay? Carburetor is being replaced with something called fuel injection. Right? As soon as that fuel injection technology come, everyone who was associated with carburetor, they lost their ability to perform. Understand? So you, without any of your fault, you can lose it. Sometime new invention can do that. Okay? There's a story about Federal Express. Okay? Federal Express was invented based on only one service to deliver overnight letters. Just about after Federal Express was getting in a business pretty good, there's a new thing got invented, and it's called fax machine. Now, as soon as the fax machine was invented, how many people need overnight letter delivery anymore? Right? All of a sudden, they lost their business. They had to regroup themselves and come up with a parcel service, actually. So what I'm saying is that you could be doing great right now. But right now, somebody somewhere inventing something you have no idea can take away your job without any of your doing. So as long as your income depends on you, you have absolutely zero security. And I'm going to show you exactly how to accomplish this. How do you get income security? That is done through concept called duplication or something called diversification. You have to diversify your income through various different sources. In other words, you should have multiple sources of income. Now, in order to do that, before we understand that, let me explain you how the wealth is created. Okay? How many of you heard that time is money? Right? Because only way to make money is time. You take time, convert into money. Okay? At job, at service, what we do? We take our time and trade it for the money. Right? You work 8 hours, you get 8 hours equivalent money. If you work 10 hours, you get 10 hours equivalent money. If you work 12 hours, you get 12 hours equivalent. Right? The more you work, more money you make. Right? Reason being, see, there's only two things. If this is the case, these are the only two solutions. Either you have more money per hour, or you have more hours in a day. Right? That's only two options you have. Right? Because once every profession, you have a maximum amount of money you can make. You are an accountant, you are an engineer, you are a doctor, you are whatever your profession is, you know what the maximum income can you produce per 1 hour. You can get more education. That's what I did after pharmacy, got an MBA degrees and this and that. All that did was increase my hourly rate. But it did not increase number of hours I had in a day. Understand? Now, I don't know how many of you agree with me or not, but do you know that every 10 years on just about average, prices doubles? Would you agree? You look at prices on anything. Okay? Just about every 10 years, prices doubles. But does income double every 10 years? No. Now what do we do then? Right? You increase number of hours in a day. Right? Let's say you need to double your income. You, instead of working 8 hours a day, you start working 16. Can you do that? Sure. Do you know some people doing it? Sure. Now you need to make 3 times of that money. Now what do? Add another 8 hours, right? Yeah, you can do that. It's 24 hours in a day. Who says you need to eat and sleep and all those nice stuff, right? Right? It's still, it's not practical, but it's probable. Right? If you want to, really need to, you can work 24 hours. Right? But now if I want to increase another one more time, what I do? Can I add another 8 now? I ran out of time. Right? But if you are intelligent like I am, you know what I did? I got married another 24 hours. You know what I mean? Right? But legally I couldn't do that one too many times. Right? So the question here is, what do I do then? So the problem is time. The limitation you have is the time. So what you need to learn to increase number of hours in a day. And that's why people do business. At business, what do? You can employ some people for you, right? So you can increase as many hours as you want, right? Look at company like Coca-Cola or AT&T or IBM. Why do they have more income? Because there's more number of hours in a day, because that's actually a diversification. Right? But you and me as an average person, what are your chances you can increase number of hours? Especially if you are working for somebody, your chances are 0. The maximum you can do is 24 hours. If you have a business, you can do it, but it will require what? Capital. You need money. So money becomes your limiting factor. So that's why there is not too many people out there are wealthy, because not because they don't have talent. See, education and income has absolutely nothing to do with it. As long as you using your education to work for somebody else, you will never be financially free. Now we know this thing, so what are the ways to do it? The next business concept which came about, which can accomplish this, which can increase number of hours in your business without putting any money, was a concept called franchise. In franchise concept, what happens, someone we call franchisor, which like for example, McDonald's for example, Ray Kroc is a franchisor, and then you are the one who you buy franchise, you are called franchisee. And as a franchisee, you invest the money, right? And then you give percentage of income go to franchisor. So if Ray Kroc has a 10,000 McDonald's and everyone's giving, he get 10,000, he's getting 10% from every McDonald's. That means he's making that much of more money. Why? Because he has that many number of hours. If every McDonald's opens 10 hours, in that 10,000 McDonald's, you got 100,000 hours going into his business. And since you have a more business going into your business, you obviously make more money. Because remember, time is money. Okay? But here the advantage is he didn't have to pay for this time. Okay? If you had a traditional business, you will paying for that time. If McDonald's was not a franchise operation, he could have still have 10,000 McDonald's, but he had to invest money in every one of those McDonald's, and he had to hire somebody to work at every McDonald's, and he had to pay every one of them for their work. Okay? So that is the difference. Now the opportunity which we're going to talk to you about, okay? The person who has given you this tape, I want you to get in contact with this person and ask this person to explain to you this concept called private franchise. In that, we have eliminated some franchisee. Everyone is franchisor. That means you could be in the same seat as Ray Kroc of McDonald's. That means you in turn learn from someone to how to establish your business, and in turn you can duplicate that business as many times as you want, and this way you'll be able to increase number of hours in your day. Let's say if you have 100 businesses set up, and every business just does 1 hour worth of business, you'll have 100 hours in your business where you don't have to pay for any one of this business. And that is the concept right now, fastest growing concept in the world. And you need to find out how does this business work. Now the question here is, this opportunity exists. But number one, my question to you is, do you have a need for financial freedom? Because, as I always say, if you're not hungry, does it matter how good is my food? You won't even try it because you're not hungry. But if you are hungry, you'll try my food. Now, it may happen that you may not like my food, and that's okay, nothing wrong with it. Same way, if you are interested in this one, you need to come and check this thing out. But provided you have a need for money, you have a need for time. I know some of you listening to this one probably have more money than anyone I know of. But my question to you, do you have time to enjoy that money? Okay. But the third question is, if you are not around, let's say you ask yourself out of your income producing machine, what's your income? Okay. Let's say if you don't produce any income for next 5 years, would you still own the same house? Would you still own the same car? For that matter, would you still have same wife? For that matter. Okay. That means you don't have a security. Okay. And if that's the case, what are you doing about it? Do you have any other option? See, what I'm looking for here is that if you have a need, then the next thing I'm looking for is, are you willing to listen? Because I'm sure every one of you out there knows somebody who knows everything. Do you know somebody like that? I have a friend, he knows the answer before even I ask the question. Now, if somebody knows everything, what can you teach that person? Nothing. And I hope you are not that kind of person. Otherwise, obviously you know everything I know, and obviously you're not going to do anything about it. Obviously you're not where you want in a life, but that's okay because you know everything. But majority of people are not like that. Most average people are intelligent. Okay, most people, intelligent people know That's something you don't know, you don't know. Okay? But there are people out there who are not so-called intelligent, nothing we can do about it. Okay? But on average, people who are ambitious, they have this quality. Ambitious people know, there's a 80-20 rule out there. I don't know how many of you know that or not. 80% of the people are not making in a life. 20% people has 80% of the wealth. Not fair, but that's what it is. Reason being, these are the three qualities ambitious people have. Now, if you have these three qualities, that means you are an ambitious. I don't know whether somebody told you before or not. Number one, you know your needs. You know exactly what I need. You'll be honest about it. You won't just make things that I don't like cars and I don't like houses. These are nothing but, people say, oh, we should feel comfortable in whatever income we make, whatever God wants, that's okay. This is nothing but not facing the challenge. Okay? And that's the easy way out. And 80% of the people go through life with all their dreams along with him. The last day they go along with their life. Okay? Don't be one of them. Just face the challenge and say, I do need money. I don't have an option right now, but I do need it. Okay? Second quality they have is they are willing to listen to somebody who can help them achieve what they're trying to achieve. They are willing to listen. They are teachable. And the third quality they have is they are willing to make some change. Because obviously, if you don't have financial freedom at this point, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough time, you don't have enough security. That means if you continue to do the same thing, what are your chances you're going to have something different? None. See, somewhere I read the definition of insanity. It says, doing the same thing and expecting different result. Okay? It's just impossible. That means you're going to have to change, and that's the last part of these three criteria I described for ambitious person is where most people lose. Because they're not willing to change. Because change obviously is difficult. Because it is unknown, fear of unknown involved. That's why people don't like to change. And that's why they would rather suffer than change. But ambitious people are willing to change. And let me tell you why you need to. Just say hypothetically. Let's say if money was no problem right now. Would you enjoy a car like Mercedes? Right? How many of you here would love to drive Mercedes? Right? Do I have somebody likes BMW? I'm a BMW kind of person. Currently I have a BMW 740iL, what I drive. Okay? It's the best car, I'll tell you, It's just a great car. Even if you go into pothole, you won't even notice it. Okay? And it's a very safe car. The reason I drive BMW is not because of the luxury, I drive because of safety. Because it's a pure steel. If you get in accident, I hope it never happens, but if you are in Mercedes or BMW, you're going to be safe. Now, I would rather put my family into a safe car than save money here and there. Okay? And that's what the concept's all about. Now, in order to make now Mercedes is a great car. Now, let's take another scenario. Let's say if you have to go on a vacation. Would you like to go to Europe? For example, go to, England and France and nice countries? Sure. My question to you is, can you go to Europe in Mercedes? Answer is obviously no, because it's the wrong vehicle for the destination you want. Right? Now, let's say your destination in your life is financial freedom. Let's say next 2 to 5 years you want to accomplish financial freedom. Whatever you're currently doing, your profession, your career, your job, your business, that's your vehicle. Now, I want you to honestly ask yourself a question is, do I have a right vehicle for the place I am trying to go? And obviously, answer is no. And if answer is no, you have two choices. Either you can say this, says, Mercedes cannot take me to the Europe, so let me go to the place where Mercedes can take me. Right? Most people give up on destination. They'll never give up. They'll never think about changing vehicle because they don't have an option. Okay? So the key here is that if you really want to go to Europe, then you need to change Mercedes. It's not a question is not whether Mercedes is a good car or not. BMW is a good car or not. Your profession, we're not questioning whether you have a good job or not, whether you have good business or not. Question is that business or that job you have, is that going to help you accomplish financial freedom if that's what you want? That is the question. Okay? Now, if that's the question, and you are sure that you definitely like to reach that destination, then your option is only one, and that's to find a new vehicle, and that's exactly what we are offering to you. Okay? But it's for you to take a next step now. What you need to do is get in contact with the person who has given you this tape and ask that person to explain to you the concept called private franchising, and through that, how you accomplish this financial freedom, which means you have plenty of money to do just about everything you like to do, you have plenty of time to enjoy the money you make, and you have absolute financial freedom. But here, as I said, do you have a need for this thing? Are you willing to listen to somebody who is willing to help you accomplish that thing? And the last thing is, are you willing to make that change? Because it does require change. Only one thing constant in a life, let me tell you, is called change. Okay? If you don't like change, say hello to poverty. Because that's the only way it's going to happen. Okay? Now, the last in closing, what I would like to tell you is the way this private franchising concept would work is it employs this principle called leveraging. Archimedes said that, if you give me a big enough lever, I'll lift the entire world. Okay? Same way, what I'm talking about, most people use called money leveraging. You invest money. That's what most people do because you're leveraging your money. But most people don't have money to leverage. Just like Archimedes didn't have a big lever. Otherwise, you would have lifted the world. Same way, if you had a lot of money, obviously you would have leveraged it. So the only thing left is money. After money, only thing left is time. So what we're going to teach you is how to leverage your time. Because again, time and money is same thing. If you have a time, obviously you have a money. Because only way you'll have money is having time. Okay? So we are one step ahead. And then if you have a lot of money, you can obviously do leveraging of money also. That's what currently I do because I make a lot of money. So what I do, I also leverage money now. Okay? So you'll be able to do both in that case. Okay? But the trick is you must know how to leverage your time. And only with that done through this concept called duplication. Okay? Now one thing I'll tell you this, that after listening to this talk, you'll never be able to tell somebody that I never knew how to be financially free. So now your next step, and come and join us. God bless you, and we're looking forward to see you around.